Hi, Ms. Bindle?
Yes.
Hi, this is Rachel Hopkins.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. If you can give me just a second, I've got our Assistant Circuit Director that I'd also like to be part of this call, if I can merge her in really quick.
Sure.
Jennifer?
Yes. Hi. Heather, this is Jennifer Sandoval, our Assistant Circuit Director. My name is Rachel Hopkins. I'm the Circuit Director here in Circuit 7.
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well. How are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to get my children some help in the only way I can think of.
Okay. Is this a good time to have a quick chat?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So, Ms. Bendel, we're calling to you today because it's come to our attention that you may have had some previous dependency involvement in the state of Illinois in the child welfare system with your children. Is that correct?
My children were kidnapped in the state of Illinois, human trafficked in the state of Illinois, and then dumped down here with their abusive father, who has been withholding any and all contact between my children and I since August of 2021. My story is all over my nonprofit page on my Facebook page, as well as my nonprofit YouTube channel. Illinois is child trafficking through for-profit private agencies, namely Camelot Care. My children have been down here in Florida since 2021. Dad is neglecting them. He is abusing them. He is illegally blocking me. Mary and Ira Serlick have contacts in Circuit 7, and I have evidence of such that they are abusing our judicial system to prolong the litigation in Florida Circuit 7. One judge has already recused herself from my case because I pulled a public records request, and my children need help. My 17-year-old son attempted suicide in father's care. That was never disclosed to the courts. That was never disclosed to Florida DCF. My children have had a 1.0 GPA in Volusia County schools for 3 years now, and I recognize that Florida DCF does not consider education neglect, but how children do in school is a direct reflection of their home life. On my nonprofit YouTube channel, there is a video where I'm walking viewers through Justin Serlick exposing my children to drugs and drug paraphernalia on TikTok. And the only way I could get people's attention here in Volusia County was to do what I just did. Became a Florida guardian ad litem volunteer to get an inside perspective of exactly what is happening and why my children cannot seem to get a guardian ad litem appointed to them to represent them. So now we're talking.
My understanding is that the case that you're talking about, that's a family law case in Florida, correct?
It is a case that I started here in Florida Circuit 7 in August of 2023 with my first attorney, Mary Jane Nettles. Mary Jane Nettles committed a felony, multiple felonies, by taking a phone call off-channel ex parte and communicating with an Illinois judge off the record, which is a violation of UCCJEA rules and regulations. It is also a federal crime to off-channel ex parte communicate with other state judges. And she documented his personal cell phone number. She emailed his personal cell phone number to Serena Baldacchino of Rice Law Firm and then Stasia Warren of Florida Circuit 7. And that has stalled out my case for over a year here in Florida because there is illegal activity happening in the background.
I just want to help to clarify, because I understand, obviously, between Illinois and Florida, it can be, everybody has different laws and different regulations.
It's UCCJEA. Florida and Illinois participate in UCCJEA, and they are required, as part of that compact agreement, to follow specific rules and regulations. And
I simply meant the difference between the dependency and the family law. So I just wanted to clarify that the guardian ad litem office only operates on dependency cases.
Yes.
A guardian ad litem in a family law case is one that would have to be privately retained, and we don't handle those situations.
Okay.
So I just going back to my first question, I just want to clarify. There was some type of DCF involvement in Illinois. I understand that you don't agree with what happened, and it sounds like your family's been through a lot.
My children have been through a lot. My children were child trafficked for over a year.
Yes, and so DCF was involved in Illinois?
So father called DCF and lied to the investigator and told them that I went mentally crazy. What happened in 2020 is he threw my son through a wall, physically picked my son up and threw him through a wall. He had been raping me for years, and in 2020, that was the final straw. My children and I went into domestic violence shelter with a safe place in Lake County, Illinois. I had opened a family law case in the state of Illinois, and Justin Serlick manipulated, as well as Mary Serlick, because I have evidence of such, manipulated the Illinois DCF system, and then they saw a vulnerable situation where my children and I were during a pandemic where housing is on lockdown. We're in a domestic violence shelter, and my kids were quite literally kidnapped from their daycare by a person that had no identification, no badge, no court order, no business card, nothing whatsoever to even indicate that she was employed by Illinois. And literally just took my kids from the daycare, and I lost any and all contact overnight. I kid you not. I had a gag order slapped on me for 3.5 years, violating my First Amendment. And then my children were ordered down here to Florida. Illinois did not send them to Florida willingly because they were too busy making money off of my 4 babies. Justin Serlick put in a court order to have the guardian ad litem for Illinois, Kathleen McGee, ship my children down here when no charges have ever been founded, and literally violated a plethora of my constitutional, civil, and human rights as their mother, documented as such in my court documents. And I have lost any and all contact with my children. We have illegal activity happening.
How frustrating and hurtful that is.
My children need help. They need help. My 17-year-old son has an 8th grade education. He has been failing for 3 years down here. They have been cut off from any and all communications with me whatsoever, illegally. My rights were never terminated. Like I was never charged with anything, and my background checks prove as such. So I took this Florida guardian ad litem volunteer role.
That would be, but we don't operate within the family law side of things.
Okay, so I didn't say you did.
Part of the issue is that, we ask very specific questions when we're going through the application process about whether or not either an immediate family member or the applicant has ever been involved in a dependency case.
What application are you referring to for a volunteer role?
The application for the guardian ad litem office.
I would love for you to email me that application because I have no idea what you're talking about. I filled out a sign-up sheet at the volunteer booth, put my name and information on it, and Rhiannon reached out to me. And I went through the training, and I did the fingerprinting, and that's it. What application are you talking about?
There's an online application that's entered that would have been emailed to you, that once you complete filling it out, it goes into our system before you start the training.
Okay, I have no idea what you're talking about right now. If you could email it to me, I'd love to see it.
Unfortunately, what happened is on the application it's indicated that neither you nor an immediate family member had ever been involved in a dependency case, and it appears that is not.
I've never been charged with anything.
It has nothing to do with a criminal charge. It just has to do with whether or not you, your children, or another family member have ever been involved in a dependency case.
Okay, and again, what's the point here?
The point is that we cannot continue with your volunteer work at this time because you do have past involvement in the dependency system in the state of Illinois.
Mm-hmm. 333 South Landvale Avenue, Daytona Beach, Florida, 32114, Justin Derek Serlick, is neglecting and abusing my children and withholding any and all contact between my children and I since August of 2021. You are a mandate reporter and you are required by state law to report this to authorities. I have the same training you do.
In the state of Florida, and I am, as
you are being recorded.
Stating it clearly. You're recording this phone call?
Sunshine law. I'm a candidate. All of my calls need to be recorded. I'm a candidate for Circuit Division 8 for Senate, and I'm a candidate for House of Representatives.
Inaccurate, ma'am.
Sunshine law, it makes everything I talk about public record. Might want to look into the Sunshine law.
Florida is a two-party consent state.
Sunshine law, when you are a candidate or a public... Ma'am, get my children some help. Do your job, get my children some help. Ariana Serlick, Thomas Serlick, Bianca Serlick, Charles Serlick need help. This will be on my YouTube channel, nonprofit.
Goodbye.